So who would you say those people are who have helped you along your journey to get to this point?
I'd say my family. First of all, they've supported me so much in seeing through and understanding, because it's quite difficult for someone to go to the university and start a fashion business. And my mentor, who was hard on me, but I loved every moment of it, just helped me to focus on a path that I wanted to take.
Hi everyone, welcome to another exciting episode of the I Built It podcast, a podcast where I talk to entrepreneurs, professionals about their careers and how they've achieved the success that they have. And the goal is to try to tease out some of the interesting details about the people, the process, the ideas, and the platforms that has helped them achieve that success. Today I'm chatting with a fashion entrepreneur who has spent more than the last decade building a ready-to-wear fashion brand as well as a production company. And she played an integral part in my career as a fashion e-commerce retailer, helping me build out my first ever collection. Today I'm speaking about none other than Bridget, Agba, CEO of Jochlieu and ChideRTW. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
So, as I typically do on any of this, I tend to put people on the spot immediately, right?
Okay.
So the first question is, of all of the things that you've been able to accomplish,
okay,
what would you say has been the biggest impact or the biggest value that you think that you've been able to accomplish in your illustrious career so far?
I would say two things. One of which is just seeing other designers thriving from our functional production hub. It excites me to see that a lot of people are doing things that we were able to make some form of impact, right? There's that. Then seeing people who start up as fashion designers because we train them to be fashion designers, it's super exciting.
That's great. So, to get into it, take it a little slow pace, right? What would you say, or where would you say the idea to do all of this came from?
I would say that, owing to the fact that I come from a family of creators, and my grandpa was a fashion designer. My grandpa was a tailor. Okay, so I sort of just found myself falling back to it. I started as a stylist, went to train as a fashion designer, and it's just been a ride all the way. All the way.
That's interesting. So, what resources would you say helped you get started in this journey?
Resources. I used to be in television, so I saved up and I got my first sewing machine, and I haven't quite gotten funding because I constantly felt the need to want to build large enough or strong enough for someone else to trust the brand. And that's how the business started. So were there any like books or trainings? Well, I think you mentioned absolutely. So I went to a fashion training school, and there I learned the art of fashion designing, pattern drafting, and all the nitty-gritty of fashion.
So that kind of like helped you build that platform to do it. So then, as part of like kind of like the resource question is, were there people and people or partnerships that also kind of like helped you? Because I know like the journey of entrepreneurship can be a lonely one, but sometimes you always have one or two people who chip in here and there. Yeah. So who would you say those people are who have helped you along your journey to get to this point?
I'd say my family. First of all, they've supported me so much in seeing through and understanding, because it's quite difficult for someone to go to the university and start a fashion business. You'd have questions, but they supported me. They supported the venture that I chose to get into, and my mentor, who was hard on me, but I loved every moment of it. Just helped me to focus on a path that I wanted to take.
That's really interesting. So, what outlets or channels have given you the biggest opportunity to express this passion and abilities that you have as a fashion?
I would say social media, of course. Social media and mostly social media and my website. I've been able to get people to see my product, get people to understand what the processes are, to pretty much just creating a customer experience through every of our channels. Yeah, having them understand that this is what we do and this is how we do it.
That's great. So, what in your character or demeanor or temperament do you think, because I imagine that like for different people, some people are boisterous, some people are calm. What would you say in your own personal estimation, like as being the key trait that has helped you succeed?
For temperament, I'm a calm person, I think. They say so, I don't know how true that is, but I'm a calm person. But I am very determined, I am very intentional, and I'm patient. I like to see processes. I allow processes happen. I am, consistent. So I'll stay consistent long enough to see the result. And all of this has helped me to see the results of the things that I've put so much work into. Yeah,
I mean, a big testament to what you say is like, I came into the space today and I was completely blown away because I know like how long this has been like a vision of yours, and to finally see it come to fruition is literally like the biggest validation of all these things that you say. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
So another question that I have is, what role or opportunity has given you, how do you feel like you being able to thrive in it the most? Because I know like there's so many aspects to your business. You have the retail side, you have the production side, you have training side where you're helping other or aspiring fashion designers hone their skills to kind of like start off in the path. So what exactly out of all of those areas you think like you really come alive, like you're so excited?
That's absolutely interesting. I would say the training side, because every time I try to train someone, or every time I train someone, I remember myself back there. So anyone who's graduated from our school or is currently training at our school would tell you for a fact, I get so involved. I pretty much do not just teach you fashion or fashion designing. I teach you the business of fashion, because everything I felt like I did not get as a startup, I try to put it out there for you to make sure that you get the kind of result that I wish I got sooner. Yeah,
and that's a very interesting point that you raised. So it's not just about securing the skill, but also securing the bag.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, what is one of the biggest challenge that you faced in your career so far, and how did you overcome it?
One of the biggest challenge I faced starting up was funding. It was huge. It was a big deal. I struggled so much with funding and having so much ideas, having so much I felt like I wanted to do, I knew to do. I pretty much just knew everything I wanted to do, and having zero fund to actually put it out or make it come to fruition. And because of this, every time you told someone else or some other designer who was more established than you were, it was easier for them to thrive because they could afford to do the things that you had hoped you wanted to do. But I didn't remember how that wasn't so beneficial to me. But I was still pretty much just fine with it. But yeah, it was funding.
Yeah.
It was funding.
And how did you overcome it?
I started with my with the cash from my company where I worked at, and I started with a very specific module for my business. I had a price point that I wasn't going to shake on. This is what we do. So I started my brand having people to understand that, okay, you can only make important things from me. And if you're trying to make important things from me, then you're paying important money. So I pretty much just put my money together from there.
And then just started growing it brick by brick.
Yeah.
That's
really, a lot of bricks by brick.
Yeah. And until then, you've still not taken any funding,
not
right?
Yet.
For this business.
Yeah.
That's really impressive.
Thank you.
So, final question then is, in the next 5 to 10 years, like given all you've been able to accomplish so far, what is on the horizon for you?
Okay, so like I said, I'm very passionate about fashion and fashion education, to be precise. And I'm looking at Jochlieu being a fashion university where people can actually train. Because I went to school 4 or 5 years and I studied something I liked, but I wished I just spent that amount of time studying fashion. It would have given me a lot more. And you see people go to school for 4 or 5 years and they still have to leave the country to go study to be a fashion designer. It's a whole lot. I feel like it's something we can do, especially something that's tailored to the African market. And yeah, I intend to have a fashion university.
Yeah, and something that I was hoping you were going to say in that answer that I'm going to let the people know is how much you invest in education yourself. Like you almost every year, every other year, you're going through a program.
Absolutely.
Or going through some kind of like, going through a program or going through some kind of training experience or something like that. And that for me I've always found very impressive.
Thank you.
Yeah, so well, thank you so much for taking out the time of your extremely busy schedule.
Thank you for having me.
To chat with me. Guys, I hope you've gotten as much value out of this conversation as I have. Like, this is really exciting for me. And go follow on all my social media platforms, Juwan_IO, and follow at Afro Laser as well. Subscribe to the channel. Look forward to seeing you in the next one. Peace.